In this tutorial, we'll create an animated mana bar overlay using MCreator. To achieve this, we'll need a mana spending item, a mana recharging item, a player persistent variable for mana amount, and a sprite for the mana bar. First, let's take a look at overlay code generated by MCreator. We calculate center position of screen here based on width and height, but also world, X, Y, and Z variables. We have this part to get player and world information. We have rendering setup. We get sprite location here. And then we reset the rendering settings. When writing own code, you don't really have to define everything, but because MCreator is made for people with low to zero Java knowledge, it has to account for everything. Now, let's move on to a cleaner and improved version of the overlay code. We first define sprite width, height, and sheet width. We then get player. As you can see, we won't need X, Y, Z, or world variables. Now we set our mana variable to calculate which part of the sprite sheet should be visible. As you can see, we simply copied code that has been generated in placeholder procedure to use in our custom overlay element. Then we have a bit shortened version of generated rendering setup. We can use default values here. Now we anchor the overlay element to a fixed position based on our sprite height. Spidrone's tutorial will be linked in description. He explains how it works, so we don't have to repeat that here. And now we use variables that we have defined earlier. And to top it off, we reset the render. As you can see, our blit method is a bit different than the generated one. We use defined earlier variables to position our sprite, but also we calculate which part of the sprite should be shown on the screen based on player mana. You can also skip the private static final variables on top of the class and simply define it here. But I find this way to be cleaner. Always remember to press Ctrl and W to generate imports, and then Ctrl and S to save the custom code element. Now let's test it in-game. As you can see currently, we have 0 mana, so our bar is empty. Let's hold our recharger for a few seconds and see what happens. Our mana bar refills correctly, success. And when we use our staff, it correctly reflects spent mana.